Good evening and welcome to our September Smyrna Town Council meeting. Our first item of business is public comment. The town's public comment period shall be reserved for those citizens that have signed up to address the town council or a board or committee at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting pursuant to the town's public comment policy as outlined above. Tonight we have 4 individuals who are going to address the council. When you come up, and we'll help remind you in case you forget, if you'll state your name, your address, and if you live in the town limits. And we always appreciate people coming to speak. Sorry. But we do ask that the audience give those individuals the opportunity to speak, and we're not going to clap and we're not going to shout out. We're all going to be respectful of each other just as the council is of each of you. So first on the agenda is Jeremy Bird. Oh, there you are, Jeremy. So Jeremy, if you'll start us off with name, address, and if you live in the town limits.
My name's Jeremy Bird. I live at 120 Abigail Avenue. I am in Murfreesboro. I am not in the town limits, but I am a business owner in the town limits. So first off, I want to say thanks to the elected officials for serving. I don't think a lot of people understand what y'all do and what you really get paid in the end. So, but I appreciate y'all more than y'all realize. I'm here to talk about the Depot District, revisiting some historical guidelines. I think there's some things we need to start to look at to update. And I think for me, it's coming to y'all first to talk about that so that we can try to work together. Maybe some of us get together and talk about that. Some of the issues I have experienced with the historical guidelines is no red. So what's that mean? No red in signage. So you're telling Chick-fil-A they can't come to the Depot District and use their logo. And that's what we're telling them, because we can't use red. And I'm having to define color when I pull a sign permit. So that's something, just one of the things that I'm kind of experiencing in my business that I would like to see us kind of look at and kind of figure out. Understand no flashing neon, all that mess. We don't need that. But within reason, if Chick-fil-A wants to come down here, I would welcome them down here so I could walk across the street and get a sandwich. But their logo would not be able to be red according to the guidelines right now and the way they're interpreted. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is encouraging people to come to our Depot District, encouraging business owners to do facelifts, encouraging property owners to do the same thing. And just from my experience in talking to other business owners and property owners, if there was some type of TIF financing like they did in Winchester and some other places, now that TIF would have to be, y'all would have to come up with guidelines. And I'm not talking about maintenance items. I'm talking about facelifts, major upgrades to buildings. We really have 19 historic properties that are commercial. That's about it. Everything else is old. So maybe defining some of those things and seeing what we can do to help the business owners or the property owners upgrade their buildings. Okay. Now, from my standpoint, TIF financing is not one of those things that I'm going to look at. It'll encourage a lot of people, but not me. When I knocked down 103 Wright Street, I was paying $600 a year in property tax in 2022. In 2023, my property tax went up 753.8% to $5,756 for the investment.
The improvements that were done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I understand it going up. But I know Murfreesboro has some property tax abatement. It's not free property tax. That's not what I'm asking for. Maybe just a little savings over 10 years to encourage development within the Depot District. I know a building that I've looked at building is going to cost me about $20,000 in property tax per year. I was at my 3 minutes. But that's just, if we can kind of look at some of those and begin some conversations, I'm open to being there. Y'all just ask me. I'm more than happy to be involved. I'm more than happy to volunteer and more than happy to just be a sounding board. I just wanted to kind of bring up some of these things to encourage people to be down here. We talk about it all the time. The Depot District's a great area, and the only way to see it grow is for us to encourage these other people to be here.
Thank you so much. Council, just so you know, Jeremy and I have had a couple of conversations through his process, and I've had some conversations with Dave as well, and so I do think it may be time to revisit some of those guidelines for historic down there. So if you and staff can kind of think through that and what is the best timeline for that. I know we've got a lot of other things going on, but if we can make sure to put that on the priority list. Okay, next is Ron Alley.
Good evening. Thank you, Council, for giving us the opportunity also to speak. My name's Ron Alley. I'm the CEO and founder of Carpe Artista, the arts organization, nonprofit in town, and also a resident. I'm not a resident of Smyrna. I live just over the line, but my businesses are all in Smyrna, and my focus is primarily Smyrna.
And would you give us your address where you live, just so Amber can get it on the record for us?
Absolutely. 6310 Lee Avenue, Murfreesboro.
Thank you, Ron.
But we have been champions of the Depot District since we started Carpe Artista back in 2011. And Jeremy and I and a number of other business owners and property owners in the area have just been meeting informally to talk about the area and moving it forward. I also have my daughter-in-law here, Teresa Alley, who she and her husband own a business on Front Street, on Lowry, it's not Front Street, on Lowry Street. And we just want to bring up, and I've presented some of the topics of conversations in just a single page. And we were part also of the Lowry Street revitalization project back in 2016, and a lot of really great recommendations that came out of that. Some things the town's already actually addressed some of those things and is moving forward some of the infrastructure. But we all would love to see more attention focused on that bigger vision and reestablishment of the Depot District. And actually the recommended, some of the things recommended in this study were the establishment of multiple districts on Lowry Street and taking advantage of the history, the rich history of Smyrna to establish an identity in those districts of the trains, planes, and automobiles. We were so excited to see that the town has recently adopted that branding with those identities and that history. And we just love to open up conversations related to and turning back to some of the things in that study, the revitalization. And so I've listed a few things here. We'd love to have the opportunity to come back and speak to those. We'd love to help find the solutions for that as well. So present those to you, and thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Ron. Okay. Next we have Wesley Smith.
Good evening. My name is Wesley Smith, and I reside at 9400 Mona Road, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That is not a part of the city of Smyrna yet. And I want to thank the mayor and the council for allowing me a few minutes tonight. While I'm not a resident of the town of Smyrna, I do live in a quarter that seems to be extremely important to your city. The Hillwood Group has proposed that this body's for potential warehouses in my community. Apparently, this body sees the opportunity to expand the Smyrna city limits for additional tax dollars. I mention additional revenue because I know that this is all that is going into this consideration when contemplating this project. This body sees an opportunity to grab land and tax dollars without providing any service to the area. Now, as I mentioned, I know that each of you are saying, wait, we will extend services, sewer, gas, etc. However, I do not want any of these services, nor do any of the residents of our community want these services. The only thing that you will provide me and my community is for years of construction and degradation of the land for what? More than warehouses? I don't want to hear about jobs either. Warehouse jobs are not benefiting our community, and if we were in desperate need of these type of jobs, every warehouse job would be filled in Wilson and Rutherford County. And while I don't have the exact numbers, I feel safe in saying those warehouses still have plenty of jobs available. I'm also confident that Mona Road cannot support this type of industrial traffic. There are 2 major S-curves on that road. Will we see improvements to that road? If Wilson County has provided those improvements, hasn't, I seriously doubt that the town of Smyrna will make improvements either. Only one has to look at the issues on the road just cross on the north side of 452 McCrary Road in Wilson County. We know as a community there are no set plans in place, just concepts, and this seems like a recipe for disaster. This area has been taken advantage of for years, and this goes back to the lake being brought in and people's land being taken away from them, claiming flooding issues. Once again, our community is in the same position. I know that Smyrna is a prideful city, and the goal of restoring the Depot downtown area is mentioned daily through various local media outlets such as WGNS, DNJ, and other local publications. In fact, WGNS is mostly just wall-to-wall coverage of how great the city of Smyrna is, if you listen to it anytime today. So my question is, why the commitment of all these resources to a non-local development? If you want respect and to raise the perception of Smyrna, do something different. There are businesses and locals who would actually care about our community and that would love a chance to make this commitment. But your commitment to this group shows where your loyalty lies. The city is a government for the people, and they are not here to take care of their citizens and hopefully give the people something to be proud of. When I look back through history, I don't believe there are any major articles or books dedicated to elected officials because they signed off on warehouses. When you think of the great stories and structures of the world, the Hillwood Group in the town of Smyrna will not be recorded. It'll just be an eyesore for years to come. If this body allows this group to move forward with no plans and just concepts, I'll know where your loyalty lies in the expansion and money. If revenue is needed, go about it another way. So go ahead and expand your borders and welcome your new residents to living in an industrial park. We appreciate your time. Once again, my name is Wesley Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Tanya Hadley?
Good evening, council members. My name is Tanya Hadley, and I live in the Saddle Grove neighborhood at 216 Meridian Drive in the town of Smyrna. Tonight, I'm speaking about the approved PRD behind our homes and the concerns about preserving the tree line buffer between Saddle Grove Tax Map 54, Parcel 18 off of Rocky Fork Road. Over the past few weeks, we've worked with your own planning committee and public works department who confirmed this PRD was approved back in November of 2024, unfortunately without our knowledge. We were only recently made aware when the design firm requested these changes. Staff provided us site plans from the design group along with the real estate developer and encouraged us to reach out. But despite multiple attempts, we've seen no response from either parties. This is why we're here tonight. We need the council's support. Our primary concern is the removal of the mature tree line. If cleared, we lose a stormwater filter. Many of our homes sit downhill and already flood in heavy rains, which I have actually provided photos of prior to this meeting. These trees absorb water and they stabilize soil. Without them, runoff will continue into our neighborhoods. Engineered fixes like retaining walls and storm drains cannot replace the protection provided by the mature trees. More importantly, we lose a wildlife corridor supporting deer, turkeys, owls, birds, and even a recent beaver dam. Our neighbors have taken pride in teaching our children about how to care for this ecosystem, and we have put in practices to sustain it for years to come. Finally, we lose the privacy and the noise barrier along with our property home protection. Our Saddle Grove community only consists of 20 homes, the majority backing up to these tree lines. We paid a premium for this privacy. Without it, both our homes and the new ones become less desirable, as they want to build a 73-home development that'll be sandwiched between our community and the new one, and the one behind it, excuse me. Back in December, your own planning commission noted that the steep topography, grading issues deemed as critical lots at the rear end of this proposed parcel. These are the same lots from my home and my neighbors that are actually here today that share a border with the proposed development. Preserving the tree line is the most reliable, cost-effective way to address these risks. We are not asking to stop growth. We're asking for responsible growth. Specifically tonight, I'm asking us for the council to amend the PRD to require a 50 to 100-foot mature tree buffer, or require a tree preservation easement that permanently protects it. This is a fair compromise, given all the strain on the Stewart's Creek School District is still under pressure with overcrowding, new homes sitting unsold. We feel that requiring a 50 to 100-foot tree buffer is a responsible step that balances growth for all of us. In closing, a permanent buffer is the simplest, safest solution. It preserves wildlife, protects property values, and prevents costly drainage issues. Once the trees are gone, they're gone forever. We respectfully ask that you amend the PRD or require a preservation easement before this land changes hands.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kevin, this is the one that is a staff review, and it does not come back before council, is that correct? Can you make sure, as you all are looking at it through staff review, I think even the planning commission said that hopefully we might be able to keep some of those trees and maintain that buffer, so.
I appreciate that. And Mitchell Wesman from your team has actually been really great and helpful
Great.
in.
Thank you
reaching
so
out.
much.
So thank you.
Okay, so those are our public comments, and I just want to say how much I appreciate the respectfulness that we've seen tonight. It's important that citizens get to come address that, and that we do that in a respectful way, so thank you all for coming to address us. Ms. Amber, I'll call the meeting to order, and Chaplain York, you're always so patient when you're waiting. I appreciate that. But before we all stand, I do want to say we have a special group tonight. I can't remember. Oh, Todd was going to do our pledge, but we've had 3 individuals that are here with us tonight. They are from Troop 422. And they are here to observe local government in action and learn more about how council meetings are conducted. And tonight, they're going to gather information to conduct further research for a project. So we are so glad y'all are here, and they've even agreed to do our pledge. So if you all will stand with us, and after the prayer, we'll have you all do our pledge for us.
Let's pray. Our Father, we love you and we thank you for this evening. Thank you for our community. We thank you for every citizen, and we ask you, Lord, help us as citizens to be good citizens, to carry out the duties that you've given us to protect our freedoms. Father, we pray you will bless our leaders tonight, give them wisdom as they guide and direct us. We pray for all of our city officials. We pray for those who serve this city by employment. We ask you to be with all of our first responders and help all of us as a group to love one another and to care about each other. And may we find ways to help one another and encourage the continuance of growing together and loving together. Father, we ask you to bless this meeting, and we ask you to guide our country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Jesus in the Pledge of Allegiance.
So I'm going to ask you all to come forward. And I'm going to let you get a little TV time. How about that? Does that work? You can go back to school tomorrow and tell them that you've gotten some TV time. Turn around for me so you can face the crowd, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and if you want to tell where you go to school.
I'm William Dawson, and I go to Stewart's Creek Middle School.
Stewart's Creek Middle. I've heard y'all have had a few visitors from the elementary school last couple of days. Yes, yes. Okay, tell us your name.
My name is Andrew Dawson, and I am homeschooled.
And you're homeschooled. How do you like your teacher? Depends on the day. Okay.
I am Alexander Laws. I go to Laverne High.
Laverne High, great. Well, we are so glad to have you all here tonight. Does anybody want to talk about what badge you're kind of working on or anything specific that you're looking for?
We are working on the citizenship and community merit badge. We had to attend a county or city meeting. Yeah.
Well, we are glad to have you. Give up. They didn't know they were going to have to get up here and speak, so didn't they do a great job? So thank you all so much for being here. And Miss Heather always likes to get a picture, and so you all can go back and tell the other kids at your school you were on TV, or you can tell, do you have a sibling at home? You can tell them that you were on TV too. So jump over here kind of close so we can get a picture. Okay, thanks you guys. I don't know if when I was that age, I could have gotten up in front of a room full of people and been as calm and cool as you guys were, so you did a great job. Miss Amber, I'm gonna let you do roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Dempsey.
Present.
Councilwoman Peoples. Here. Councilman Cole.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Short.
Here.
Councilman Sullivan.
Here.
Vice Mayor Atkins.
Here.
Mayor Reed.
Here. Item 4 is approval or corrections of the minutes, August 12th, 2025 regular meeting and August 28th, 2025 workshop meeting of the town council. Jeff, are these in order?
In order as to form, unless the council has any adjustments you'd like to make.
Okay, council, any additions or corrections? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes pass. I don't have any awards or recognitions from here tonight. Anything, Dave or Amber?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then we will move on to our consent agenda. It is a pretty long consent agenda tonight, and these are items that are determined by our town manager to be routine matters and not necessarily needing individual discussion, but a council member can pull any item off and vote on, and ask to vote on it individually. I do like to read these so that those in the audience and those at home know what we're voting on. So our first item is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Sessions Paving Company for the Sam Ridley Parkway intersection at Old Nashville Highway. Item B is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute amendment number 2 with Energy Land and Infrastructure LLC for professional services for Phase 2 design of the Weekly Lane Improvements Project. Item C is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to approve the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Annual Report. Item D is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract addendum with Energy Land and Infrastructure LLC for the design of the sidewalks along Rock Springs Road to go from Mason Tucker to Old Nashville Highway. Item E is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Civil and Environmental Consultants Incorporated to perform stream monitoring. Item F is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Raindrop Products LLC for improvements to the Splashtown water slides. Item G is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Kimberly Horn to update the 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Item H is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Boozer and Associates for easement appraisals for the Highland Avenue Phase 1 water model project. Item I is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a professional services agreement with Jones Fortuna LP for the water storage reallocation study. Item J is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Tyler Technologies Incorporated for case management software for the probation department. Item K is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with Placer Labs Incorporated to utilize the analytics platform solution. And item L is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with the National Sign Plazas Incorporated for the installation and maintenance of the directional sign program. Council, is there any item you'd like to pull off and talk about individually?
Item C.
Okay. Anything else? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda except for item C?
So moved.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes, and we'll go back to item C, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to approve the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Annual Report.
Yeah, my question is on page 12 of 13, we have MCM 5, which states post-construction / permanent stormwater management in new development, redevelopment compliant with permit requirements? And the answer is yes. So I've had a total of 3 people reach out to me now and I think Dave and Tom and myself met with a couple of the folks that have the detention basins in place that are now requiring them to have the professional inspections done. And I'd just like for Tom, again, to explain to the public how this, has come about, where the town at one time was inspecting them, but now we've got a new MPDS permit through TDEC, and part of that is the post-construction management of those detention basins and inspections by the property owners. So we just need to kind of get that out to the public to kind of explain.
As to why they're individually having to do it as opposed to us doing it.
Hey, Mayor Council, so kind of answer your question a little bit, it's really always been a requirement of the property owners to do an inspection and maintenance. It's been, I've got a copy of our stormwater plan requirements dated 2007. You might have been familiar with that. It's under a maintenance agreement. It says the owner of the property to be served on by an on-site stormwater management facility must execute an inspection and maintenance agreement that operates as a deed restriction binding on the current property, property owner and all subsequent property owners. So it's always been a requirement that they do the inspections and maintenance. A lot of them have not done that. We have gone out on behalf to make sure just to do some limited visual inspections on stormwater management systems to make sure they're in compliance. Some of them we found that might have had a sinkhole develop in or might be damage to an outfall structure. And so then we'll notify them, let them know that the owner know that they're supposed to get those items fixed. So we have done those in the past. What TDEC is actually changing now is the requirement to report that to TDEC. So now it's kind of holding owners responsible a little bit more to make sure that they do the inspections. There's certain items that we just can't inspect. There are a lot more underground systems. There are systems with underground water treatment systems or entire underground stormwater management systems. There's sites that have pervious pavers, some that have bioretention systems that we're not qualified to go out and do the level of inspection that they want. In fact, there's no one other than myself as a licensed professional engineer who is qualified to go and do the level of inspection that's necessary. So that's why it is allowed for them to hire an owner to hire and do what they're supposed to do, which is do the inspections, to hire a licensed professional engineer, I think landscape architect, or someone else who's licensed to oversee that.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. I was just having people reach out to me and trying to figure out what has changed. And they received a letter from, is it Bradley, in the stormwater department to go out and do those and hire a professional to do them, so.
Yes, sir.
One of the things, Councilmember Dempsey, that we did since our conversation is we had some conversations with the stormwater consultant at MTAS just as early as today, who confirmed this for us, that this has always been the responsibility, and that because of these new reporting regulations, this has been the standard model that not every, I can't say every, but to our best of our knowledge, every municipality that we have looked at has adopted. There were some questions of whether or not this was being done in Davidson County. We confirmed that at this point. So I just want to let you know, we looked a little bit deeper into it and reached out to the folks who actually put together the model ordinance in conjunction with TDEC that we generally have put forth to the council. I think that was about a year ago.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what we followed when we updated our ordinance a year ago,
Yes, we followed the MTAS.
the recommended.
Right.
Yeah. So when these folks reach out to me, I guess the guy, Bradley, on the letter, I've been directing them to reach out to him as well.
Great, perfect. I appreciate that. We also have some updates in relation to the underground storage stormwater facilities, as there's some nuances related to those.
5 year versus 1 year.
Correct.
Okay.
So
The
I can-
underground had to be a year versus 5-year, correct?
Well, I'll let
Well,
Tom
it's-
address that.
It's suggested that it's done annually, but they can fall back on manufacturer's requirements or manufacturer specifications. A lot of them do allow a 3-year, and just a 3-year inspection on that, so if that's what the manufacturer spec says, then that's what we'll follow.
And I guess the complaint we were getting is it's underground system, it filters better, and felt like they's being penalized to do it every year versus 5 years for an above-ground system.
But I think in the letter it said that they could inspect or have someone inspect, is what the
Yeah.
letter said.
But it was the 5-year versus one year for the underground, and then 5 years for the above ground. And I think that was the rub, was why are we required every year by the professional rather than every 5 years for above ground?
I didn't think the letter that was sent out said it had to be by a professional every year. I thought the letter stated for the underground, it could be them, or is that not what the letter stated?
So there was a little bit of ambiguity in the letter, but the fact is that, as Tom stated, is that
Manufacturers'
it can be the manufacturer's
recommendations,
recommendation. And on that frequency, it's the owner or owner representative. The 5-year requirement
see.
for the qualified professional is on
Okay.
the 5-year
Is on
basis.
5.
Thank you.
Okay. So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to old business. Tonight, we have 4 public hearings. Our first public hearing is consideration of a resolution relative to a plan of services for properties located on tax map 20, parcels 45.00, 61.01, 61.02, and 61.03, and tax map 26, parcels 13.00, 13.01, 13.02, 15.00, 15.01, and 18.01. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is the plan of services that is for the annexation, which is in zoning, which is the next item on your agenda. This just puts in writing and details the services the town would be providing upon this, to this property, if you choose to annex it. In this case, it would be all services, including water. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing and reviewed this and did recommend this to you. And staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin on the plan of services?
Yes, Kevin, just refresh my memory.
Sure.
This is West Jefferson at,
Yeah, just
Hickory
west of
Grove.
840.
Hickory Grove?
Right.
Across the street from Hickory Grove.
Okay.
Fire Hall.
Says State Route, yeah, West Jefferson State Route 2. Okay.
Other questions? Okay, this is a public hearing, so I'll see if there's anyone here to speak for or against the plan of services for this property. Seeing no one, I'll close public hearing, go to council for a motion.
Motion that we approve the plan of services.
For a motion, do we have a second? Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to item B, which is the public hearing, which is consideration of an ordinance relative to the annexation in C2 and I1 zoning of property on tax map 20, parcel 61.01 and 61.03, and tax map 26, parcels 13.00, 13.01, 13.02, 15.00, 15.01, and 18.01, requested by Hamilton Development LLC on behalf of Hollingshead Land LLC, containing 178.6 acres. The properties are located south of West Jefferson Pike, State Route 266. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is the annexation request. These properties are on West Jefferson Pike, State Route 266, about 4/10 of a mile west of the interchange with I-840. Land use plan for the portion of this request along Jefferson Pike is the 840 Gateway Character Area, which would support a mix of hospitality, retail, restaurant, high-density residential, and industrial warehousing uses. That extends about anywhere from 400 to 1,200 feet off of Jefferson Pike, depending on the location. And then for the portion of these properties that are south and west of that designation, low-density residential would be supported. Surrounding zoning is PUD, which is the cornerstone of Smyrna PUD, directly across the street in town, and RM and CS in Rutherford County. Because as I stated earlier, the town would be providing all services to this area upon annexation. The original request that came to Planning Commission was for approximately 23.6 acres to be zoned C2, and then the remaining 155 acres zoned I1. That was it was increased slightly from the original request, but that was recommended, as originally recommended by planning. And in between first and second reading, there was an amendment to increase the commercial zoning to 30 acres, leaving approximately 148.6 acres to be zoned I1. That was deferred back to Planning Commission. They did review that at their meeting last week and did recommend approval of the revised request, which is the 30 acres to be C2 and the remaining zoned I1. And so again, they did recommend approval of the amended request, and staff would also recommend approval.
Questions for Kevin?
So this is first reading.
No, this is second reading.
Second reading.
Second reading.
So there would need to be a public
That's why
hearing.
there's the public hearing.
Yes.
And if you'll recall, this is the one that we had asked for more commercial along
Right.
the front, and they had agreed to do that because of the
It had to go
change, it
back
had to
to
go
planning.
back to planning, but would come back to us as second reading. Okay, seeing no.
Other than the adjustments of commercial, industrial, any other changes from
No other
first reading?
changes. No.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, I'll go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. Seeing no one, I'll close public hearing and go to council for a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
There's one discussion, Mayor. On this conceptual site plan, it still is still showing, Kevin, the corner of that building, you know, not surrounded by commercial. And I was just wanting to clarify, is that something that we're not adopting by this?
Yes, that's correct. That concept plan is just a concept plan.
Okay.
This is not a PUD. It's just
Okay.
straight C2 and I1.
And that'll go back to planning.
Yes.
Other questions? Okay,
So
we've
I
got,
have no questions, I just, are you looking for discussion now?
yeah, we opened it.
Okay. I know you've talked about this, and I didn't have the opportunity to do so at the last meeting, but I realize this is a concept plan, and they have increased the amount of commercial on the front. However, it still concerns me that this is still all warehouses for this development. So, and the fact that we have an additional item tonight that we're dealing with warehouses. And so the fact that we are looking at bringing these in, it looks like that's what this side of town is going to turn into. And so for me, I have some concerns about that being what we're bringing into that particular side of town, and that being a gateway into Smyrna. So.
Great. Any other comments?
Yeah, and I think I made a comment, Mayor, once, that I hope we don't turn Jefferson Pike into Warehouse Row, you know, let this be the beginning. I mean, and I think there was positive argument, like, if not at the interchange, then where at, you know, so.
And with there being commercial on the front and then the warehouse back behind,
Right.
and with the slope kind of that land, it kind of helps hide it.
Yeah, I
but
guess the only other piece too is, you know, with this, my understanding is this is gonna be office slash
Right.
warehouse. So these
Right.
are all gonna have office spaces. It's not just a storage building, right, which is a little different. That makes it, the front of these buildings are gonna have office space, right?
Make it more palatable, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll now move on to item C, which is our housekeeping item, which is consideration of a resolution and memorandum of ordinance 25-21 relative to the annexation in C2 and I1 zoning of property requested by Hamilton Development LLC on behalf of Hollingshead Land LLC containing 178.6 acres. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D is our third public hearing tonight, which is a consideration of an ordinance relative to the amendment of the existing PRD of properties located on tax map 54, parcel 57.02, and tax map 73, parcels 13.00, 13.01, 13.03, 13.04, and 16.00, owned by South Coast DFH Nashville LLC, containing 67.68 acres, and the rezoning of tax map 54, part of parcel 57.00, owned by S. Collins II Properties LLC, from R3 to PRD, containing 31/100ths of an acre. The request is from Gamble Design Collaborative on behalf of the property owners and is located along Rocky Fork, Amable Road, and Briley Road. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a request to amend an existing PRD and as well as add a small portion of land, about 31/100ths of an acre, to that PRD from an adjoining tract of land. These parcels are all located south and east of Briley Road and west of Rocky Fork, Amable Road. Land use plan would support medium-density, single-family residential in this area. Surrounding zoning is several different PRDs: Collins Grove, Alfaro, Reverie at Music City, and Linwood, in town, and RM in Rutherford County. The existing PRD for Barley Downs, which was approved in April 2023, is 212 single-family lots on 67.68 acres for about 3.13 units per acre. Once the open space is not considered, it's about 52.21 acres, so about 4.06 units per acre. The requested amendment would add 31/100ths of an acre, currently zoned R3, from an adjacent tract, and then to amend that into the PRD and add extensively 5 additional lots. So we go from 212 to 217 single-family lots on 67.99 acres. That's about 3.19 units per acre. Again, when the open space is removed from that, it's about 4.13 units per acre. The amenities proposed have been changed as well, to add a pool and clubhouse, replacing a pavilion, dog park, and community garden. And it has also been requested to amend that front setback. Instead of being 35 feet to everything, it would be 35 feet to the garage and a 20-foot setback. Could be up to as close as 20 feet to the setback to the house itself. The overall layout, minimum, maximum house size, and those type of things has not been proposed to be changed. The Planning Commission did review this to recommend approval. Staff would also recommend approval.
We've talked about this a couple of times. Are there any questions or comments before we go to the public hearing?
So, Kevin, if you could re-clarify, they're bringing in 0.31 acres.
Correct.
They're doing away with the pool and clubhouse.
No, they're adding a pool and clubhouse.
Okay.
Adding a pool and clubhouse.
And then they're requesting a setback variance to 20 foot for the house.
Yes.
Not the garage part.
Not the garage, yes. 35 feet still to the garage.
Okay.
If it's a front entry garage.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. Seeing no one, we'll close public hearing, go to council for a motion.
Mayor, I'm abstaining from the vote because Briley Downs was the past product that I helped to assist, so I think this is a
Okay.
conflict for me.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
For a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
One opposition and one abstention. Our last public hearing tonight is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of tax map 18, part of parcel 10.01 to go from C2 to PUD, and for the amendment of the existing PUD on tax map 18, part of parcel 10.01, as well as parcels 10.02, 10.03, 10.04, and 10.05, and tax map 28, parcels 44.29, 44.30, and 44.31, owned and requested by Stewart's Landing LP, The property requested to be rezoned from C2 to the PUD contains approximately 3 acres, and the parcels requested to have the PUD amended contain approximately 37.94 acres, for a total of 40.94. The properties are located on Sam Ridley Parkway West and Motlow College Boulevard. Kevin?
Yes, this is an amendment to existing PUD and then with an additional 3 acres to be added to it. These are all on Sam Ridley Parkway West and Motlow College Boulevard. The land use plan for this area is the Sam Ridley Corridor character area, which would support a combination of retail and uses and services. Provide markets for both local and regional customers. The surrounding zoning is C2 in town and agriculture in Laverne, because this does border the town limits with Laverne. The existing approved PUD would allow for 280,400 square feet of commercial buildings, 245,500 square feet of office, 240 hotel rooms, and 75 for-sale condominiums. The requested amendment would add 3 acres in the extreme northwest corner of the parcel, which was excluded originally with a note that the use would be coordinated with the town and Motlow State Community College. This portion of the parcel is still Zone C2, but has been requested to be incorporated into the PUD with this amendment. In addition, the PUD amendment would include the following changes: to remove the 75 for-sale condominiums and replace them with 268 for-rent apartments. They requested that the requirement of a minimum of 75% brick, stone, and glass exterior be amended to only require 64.31%, which is masonry and glass, and that the list of primary materials would be amended to add authentic stucco, composite metal, prefinished wood, and painted wood. And the list of secondary materials would be amended to add cementitious siding, fabric awnings, architectural metal panels, and smooth-faced concrete masonry. The overall road layout has not changed, but the location, orientation, and uses of some of the buildings have changed. The Planning Commission did review this request, did recommend approval with 3 conditions. One, to provide details for the proposed recreational amenities for the plazas and parks that are shown, to provide a signage plan as required by the sign ordinance, and that non-residential buildings are required to meet the requirements of design review, including a minimum of 75% brick, stone, or glass for any elevation visible from the public street. Residential and mixed-use buildings are required to meet the requirements of design review for residential buildings, with the exception that the first floor of any mixed-use building is required to meet the requirements for non-residential buildings. And with those conditions, staff would recommend approval.
Kevin, I know that we had discussion last time about the 3 acres and that we asked you all to talk to the developer as well as Motlow in regards to that back entrance, and it's my understanding that that has been taken care of, that y'all had that discussion.
Yeah, we did receive a kind of a conceptual plan that did show kind of a way for access to be provided kind of in that top northwestern corner, I guess. There is on the Motlow side of that, there is a detention pond that kind of serves the parking lot that's there, and so that may or may not be the best place for that. And so we did talk to the developer. They're more than willing to look at moving it to wherever it works best, but they are willing to provide that access, that connection.
Okay. Okay. Other comments before we go to the public?
Yeah, I guess this is time as any. I think everybody knows my position on this. We're going from basically 75 condos to 268 apartments. And that's the issue I've got. I feel like we've got enough apartments along the Sam Ridley corridor, which is like almost 4,400. And if we had 268 more, you know, we're at 4,600. And then overall, I think we's at, Kevin, correct me if I'm mistaken, somewhere around 8,600 for right. Town-wide. And this would put us at 8,900. And I think I asked a question last time, you know, we've heard about R6, and my question is, when is enough apartments enough? And I don't have anything against people or anything that lives in apartments. I just think we've got to start doing some better planning. We've got an opportunity here to reject apartments where we don't have opportunity when they're zoned R6. That's one issue I have. And the other is, Kevin, did you say we're meeting design review standards on everything here? Because I know that we had one item last time at planning that got rejected because of design review.
That is correct, yeah, they would be required to meet all requirements
Okay.
of design review.
And then we have the access easement. Spoke with the president of, as you did, Mayor, with Motlow. And initially his concern was 3 acres used for Motlow, but that, I guess that bridge is where that ship is sailed. And now their concern is about access to their property. And my concern is if that butts into their detention basin, is that really a good place to put access to the Motlow property?
Well, and that's why I brought it, we
Right.
brought that up too as well, and I think, again, it would, if you take it, instead of going to the northwest, you go kind of to the northeast, that's also property that Motlow owns, and I think
Right.
that's probably the more
Yeah.
logical place, if the topography works and that sort of thing, we'll just take a look at that.
If you can look at that, that'd be great. That's all I have, Mayor.
Any other comments? Okay, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item, if you'll come forward. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and go to council for a motion.
So moved.
A motion, do we have a second?
Mayor, I'll second it to get it on the table.
Okay. Any other discussion or comments? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Did you get that? Yes, ma'am. Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Our Planning Commission report. Item 1 is consideration of an ordinance relative to the annexation and PUD zoning of property on tax map 11, parcel 5.00 requested by 452 Properties LLC containing 225.25 acres. The property is located on Mona Road east of
Developed utilizing the C2 district requirements, and the remaining 190.95 acres designated to be developed utilizing the I2 district guidelines. In addition, the height limit for the I2 area is requested to be 60 feet instead of 50 feet, as allowed in I2, and there would be no pole signs allowed within the development. The maximum square footage allowed in the C2 area is 350,000. The maximum total square footage in I2 would be 2.5 million. The major thoroughfare plan does show a future minor arterial connecting Bill France Boulevard to Hickory Grove Road and eventually to West Jefferson Pike. Construction of the portion of this roadway which crosses this parcel would be required as a part of the development and is shown on the concept plan as an extension of an existing county road, Coulter Court. As a part of this annexation request, staff did recommend annexation of a fire station on the site, which would need to be evaluated and potentially relocated depending on that evaluation. Staff also did prepare a more in-depth look into the provision of services to this area if annexed, and that we did attach that in your packet. This deeper look does include the possibility of additional property that has the same ownership, which could be contemplated for annexation in the future if this parcel is annexed. I also attached the maps and PUD concept plan for the current request as well as those additional tracks to the east, just for your, so you can see those and know what we're talking about there. The Planning Commission did review this, did recommend approval. Staff does recommend approval of this request, but does have concerns about future potential annexation of the eastern parcels that are under the same ownership due to the increased cost of provision of services for those parcels. That's what I have.
something that is before us tonight for a vote. It's just the annexation and zoning, but the agreement is so intertwined with what is being brought before us tonight. I think we all need to have a really clear understanding of that agreement and what we're getting into with this parcel out here.
Sure, Mayor, so I know that Mr. Peach is prepared to go through that agreement in great detail with you tonight. I'll provide an overview of how we've, how it was constructed. meeting with the developer in excess of 6 months now, and trying to work with him in the best interest of the town as well on how to formulate a utility agreement that would bring utilities into that area, but preserve, preserve a lot of the development rights, not only for them, but for the future development of that area as well as ensuring that there were safeguards in place for the town, most importantly, as it relates to any action taken by this council. This is probably one of the most complex agreements and annexation requests that this council has seen. So we wanted to make sure that we brought something before you that was diligently reviewed and negotiated by both parties. We have been meeting with them on a weekly basis to meet the developer's request to bring this before you this evening. They would have the utilities that will be run out there if this moves forward would be brought to both parcels that are owned by this or under control of this development firm at this time. So I'll pause there. I know Mr. Peach has a great deal of information to go through with you.
Is that land in between getting handled?
It's my understanding that we'll use the same methods that we are for other projects that we have going on.
So we will go through the process of buying an easement or
We would acquire all the easements in this,
including that section?
including that one, yes.
Okay.
Just to be honest, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not, I'd rather hear it one time and hear the finished product.
Well,
I feel like we'd be wasting our time going through it tonight. I mean, there are other issues which still need to be dealt with this, and, I mean, it's not just the agreement that I'm not comfortable with, there's a myriad of other things.
I did notice the red lines.
Had the most information we could to council, because this way, we knew that council would want to have a lot more say what goes into this agreement. And so instead of just giving you a workshop and then a council meeting, we're bringing it to you, a little meeting. For the time limit that we had for being started in September, that was the best product that we could bring you at this time.
My concern that I've raised to you already, which I know some of the red lines is trying to account for that, was specifically around the de-annexation. A clause that basically says that they will agree to de-annex. I guess my question is, the Rollins family, or representatives of the Rollins family, is not signing this agreement. So how does that bind them to that de-annexation?
They'll have to provide that to us per the agreement that they have to have the.
So there would have to be another document or an addendum to this document where the Rollins family signed it saying they agree to that too.
Would be satisfactory to us. I don't know that it'd have to come before you, but it has to be legally substantial for me to be able to say, yes, that clause has been met.
Okay, and then the last thing is usually when we're entering into a contract with anybody,
We want to possibly negotiate. Jeff can't know that to put things in the document if we
Would a
don't have.
workshop not be better served for this? I mean, because as it is, I mean, do you want us to?
and honestly, I don't want to. I don't want to be limited by. This might take hours.
Well, in fairness too, I think they would want to know the same, right? I mean, just to have an agreement signed by all parties in discussion. Sounds like that was a purposeful decision, and I can't agree with them more.
Yeah, that's exactly the thought process in planning, right? I supported this in planning, I voted for it. What I was voting for there specifically was the zoning request. The zoning fits the area, et cetera. But as me and you talked about, planning wasn't involved in, and isn't involved in the agreement. This is a council agreement. So from a planning perspective, with my planning hat on, irreflective of the agreement, I voted to approve it based on the request from a zoning perspective and to get it over to council. Now that we're sitting in council, I'm not comfortable voting for annexation. We're trying to meet a timeline.
And Jeff, was there a will serve letter from CDD? I believe there was.
Yes, there was.
So they've agreed to commit to that already, right?
But have
Is
they
that-
Develop serve, but not the agreement.
Not the agreement.
No, that's, yeah, but the will serve by CUD has been given.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they have to sign off on the
Yeah, I
agreement
understand.
as well, and they've not done
Does
that.
the will serve, what happens to their will serve letter?
I would need to read all of what they've placed in their will serve, but I don't think anything, 'cause that's not a promise that, hey,
Yeah.
you know, all the things are together and we're coming out there. That's just something that they would need when they go to the county planning or to our planning to say, hey, this is even considerable to even have utilities at this location. And so that's pretty much all that they're just saying, is that it's available and we can do it if the stars align.
So essentially, if the deal doesn't work out, even with the will serve letter, CUD could walk away.
That's right, they're not held to that.
Okay.
And they would.
And they-
The other concern that I think when this was even started to be discussed, gosh, has it been almost 4 years ago now, 3 years ago, the initial, is it's kind of piecemealed rather than looking at the entire parcel out there and what we're looking at and what could possibly be served that's in our urban growth boundary. So I do have some concerns about that as well. And Steve, I think you brought up how would we go from west to east? And what does that look like? And what is that landowner, what are they looking at long-term?
Because, I mean, 4 years ago, when we started this conversation, it was with a different developer and had different plans and similar concept. They were saying they were gonna help get or pay for utilities to get out there, but they had their own requests and needs. I believe they still own land out there, and I believe they still are gonna wanna be involved in sewer or something once we get it there. And I think they are the ones that own that piece of property in the middle, but I'm not positive.
Okay, so,
We hadn't talked about what it would cost for us to serve it with fire and police. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on. Sorry to interrupt you.
sounds like we need to set up a special called meeting. I guess Casey, unless, do y'all have your schedules now where you want to do it now, or would you rather send out options?
Casey's here.
Oh, here you are, Case.
You want to do this now?
I mean, you tell me, what do you?
I think we can follow up with y'all's availability. I think just what I would like some direction on is how quickly you would like to have that meeting and what exactly we're looking, I mean, I've heard a lot of discussion tonight, but are there
For me,
things within that
one-
meeting that you want?
One, I want to make sure we have enough time. I think we probably need to do, you think a 3-hour?
Oh, yeah.
I think at least a 3-hour. I would like for me, council, I'd like for you to review the agreement, because I think that is a huge piece.
I've read it, and I've
I've
got a few.
I've got
Yeah.
pages and pages of
Yeah.
notes, but I think it's important we get those to Jeff so that Jeff can put all those into one piece. And then, Jeff, I would also like for you to try to have some discussion. I know that CUD has said they've received the agreement, but other than that, that's pretty much all we've gotten from them. I would like to,
And the CUD's legal counsel.
yes,
who
right,
reached out.
to see if they can provide us any more
Sure, I'll do that.
information.
Mayor, if I can, I've
Sure.
got just a couple of comments of the contract, Jeff, while you're here. The eminent domain part of us acquiring easement, kind of got a heartburn with that. We're proposing to extend utilities to serve a development, and we're going to utilize, if necessary, eminent domain. And is that normal to extend, I guess, utilities to that a development's going to utilize the developer?
So there's actually a case law about this, and if it's beneficial to the general region, then just because it stops at a certain development does not make it for private use only. As the intent was this, and I'm not trying to sell it to you by any
Sure,
means, but
sure.
the intent of that is this is opening up that corridor of sewer that would be available to all those other people. So that's why, and it's going to be dedicated to the public, so it's going to be public sewer. And so, granted, it says eminent domain in there, but that just allows us to do that as we do with any of our projects, just like the 142 tracks we're getting right now. Amble, Rocky Fork area, is, of course, we go to the folks first. We offer fair market value, negotiate with the owners. And so I can't give you more than probably 3 times we've had to condemn because of an issue over value. Normally, when we're condemning, it's because the mortgage companies will not respond. The owner's fine with what they've got, but as far as, we don't just run out and say, we're taking this and we're taking that, you know.
Sure.
So we try to work with folks the best way that we can.
Wouldn't that be the same as what we did with Olive Branch?
That's what we do with all of
Yeah.
our sewer projects, all of our water projects, that where we're going, where we've not been before.
It's just that this was listed in the sewer agreement, and it just.
No, it's a good question. I
Yeah,
just want to respond.
Then there was reference financial surety. I know that there was discussion about changing bonding requirements to financial surety, you know, whether it's letter of credit or something. Would that go into effect under this agreement? Should the developer fail to uphold his end of the agreement?
Well, I believe that was under sub-regs, so I don't know that it would for this anyway.
Yeah.
And it's also on here.
But that's just, we don't have to get into it, just.
Well, and Jerome, can you send him your
Yeah.
questions so that so all of us can do
Sure.
that, so we don't end up rehashing it twice?
Sure.
That'd be
And
great.
Then the last thing was, you know, are we going to use a developer's contractor to install that versus it being under the town's purview?
Yes, that's the whole purpose of this agreement.
Sure.
Is that the developer will pay for all the fees instead of our ratepayers to install the sewer. The town, though, will still be inspecting, and it'll be, you know, televised to make sure that it's been installed correctly, all those types of things. But
And then one last thing.
So hold on, get clarification on what you said. So we will be using their contractor, but the
oh yeah,
town will approve.
their contractor will be installing the sewer.
Gotcha.
There's a 90-day reference, I'm sure you guys just discussed it, annexation and rezoning east of Mona Road.
So what that is considering is, so right now, that eastern section is not contiguous because it's
Right.
separated by this intervening parcel that we've spoken of. And the town staff, nor do I think the county, is interested in non-contiguous annexation.
Right.
So this just provides in the agreement that in the event that the town becomes contiguous with these parcels, that
They have 90 days to come in.
they have
to
90 days
request
to
it.
give consent.
Okay,
So give consent. It does not force you to annex it. The obligation is on the developer to consent if we ask them to come in.
Okay, so you all are you clear as to what we're kind of looking for in this meeting?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, are we having a special workshop to have discussion, or are we looking to have these items on the agenda for consideration?
No, I would like I think it needs to be a special call meeting where if we choose to vote on it that night, that we could vote on it that
Okay.
night, if we end up doing that.
Well, if I can mention something, Mayor, obviously y'all can do what you
Oh,
want to.
but it's
But
mainly
we're
for
doing this to
this.
get to a right agreement,
Right.
and then they would have to,
Yeah.
developer would have to review it.
Yes, they're gonna have to
So
come back, so
you wouldn't be
yes,
able to
so
vote on
just
it then
a
anyway.
non-voting workshop. Yep. Okay, so, we do have an item A1, so do I have a motion for
Yeah.
item A1?
So I have a question about the motion, Jeff. If I made a motion to defer, is 30 days the limit? Can I defer 60 days?
No, this is annexation, so you can defer as you would like.
And the reason I'm asking that is if we're gonna have a special call meeting and it has to be advertised and we're already at the 10th, workshop and everything else coming up, it's gonna be pretty hard to do that and have our answers in 30 days. And that's the reason I'm thinking 60.
And especially if the agreement has to go back and forth, because I'll be honest with you, until the agreement is hashed out, I'm not
agree.
comfortable
I
voting on the
agree.
annexation.
I agree totally.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we defer this item for 60 days.
Second.
Motion and a second.
One moment.
The October or November meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I knew that's where you're going, as soon as I said
So
it.
are you comfortable with his
Yes, we
motion
just,
now?
because you may be 61, 62, so the next, to November council.
So there's a motion to defer until the November council meeting. And we have a second?
Correct.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
I've got just one statement. I've got a problem with annexing way out the opposite direction where we just annexed 5 miles the other way. And I think we're stretching our resources thin if we do that. That's my
I think that's absolutely a valid thing that we absolutely need to have discussion
Yeah.
with during this,
I
during
actually
this thing.
had a little conversation with David about that very thing, so.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I would like to say one thing. I'm pretty disappointed that someone would come up here and accuse us of a money grab prior to hearing our discussion. I think you can see we take this job pretty seriously, and we do everything we can in the best interest of our town. And to come here prior to having discussion with me or any other person on this council really disappoints me. So I hope we can have better communication moving forward about this. So I hope you all can see how seriously we take this.
I appreciate the public's, people that are here to listen to it, their patience as well. Because if this were to move forward, there's still some things that have to be addressed.
Absolutely.
right? So,
Absolutely. Item 2 is consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Smyrna Municipal Zoning Ordinance, Article 4, Section 4.075, and Article 5, Section 5.051.1, and 5.051.2, 5.051.3, 5.051.4, 5.051.5, and 5.051.6 regarding the required minimum building setbacks for detached accessory structures. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. This is something that staff has discussed internally for several months now, and we brought it to the last joint meeting of the council and planning commission, the last work session we had. Discussion at the meeting was positive. Staff was asked to bring it forward for consideration. Currently, detached accessory structures are allowed in all residential zoning districts, but must be located in the side or rear yard and must be located at least 8 feet from any side or rear property line. The proposed amendments would change the required minimum distance to 5 feet. These amendments would also clarify that in any planned development, or PUD, where residential uses are allowed on individual lots, the same requirement would apply. Staff has been enforcing this same requirement, but technically the zoning ordinance is silent on this issue. So this would clarify that, treat all residential lots the same with regard to detached accessory structure setbacks. These amendments would make the town's requirement consistent with the requirements of the city of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County as well. The proposed amendments were added there. Language to be removed has been struck through. The new language is highlighted in yellow. The planning commission did review these, did recommend approval. Staff would also recommend approval.
Steve or Mark, anything you want to add on this?
well, I think it's just trying to get consistent. County has the same regulations. We're just trying to find some consistency with our codes enforcement and move forward with it.
This is one of the items that we see quite a bit in the BZA. Folks come in and ask for a variance for various hardships from
Yep.
8 to 5.
It takes away some of those hardships.
It just makes sense. It's an awful lot of language and reading and documents just to change 5 to 3.
You know what they're going
Or
to do
3,
now?
8 to 5.
They're going to be in there requesting a variance from 5 to 3.
Yeah,
Might be a
probably.
little hard to
Yeah.
Okay, so other questions or comments on this?
Make a motion to approve it, Mayor.
I have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
I
All in?
don't like
Oh,
it either.
what?
I don't like it either.
What, you don't like this?
No, I'm just agreeing with what Jerome said. I think that, we're lessening regulations.
Oh, I'm in favor of it.
Are you really?
Yeah, I just made that comment that you know, we've reduced the limit that now they'll be coming BZA for.
For
It's
something?
kind of like speed limit. If it's
Yeah.
40, they'll do 45. If it's
Well,
30,
you know
they'll do
what?
35.
You can voice your
What's
dissent
your opinion?
when you vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. You got to voice your dissent. Item 8.3 is consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Smyrna Municipal Zoning Ordinance, Article 5, Section 5.052.4, relative to the addition of the use tourist home to the uses allowed by right in the C4 Neighborhood Service Business District. Kevin?
This is another text amendment to the zoning ordinance. This is again, another one that we talked about at the last joint work session. It's something that's been kind of talked about off and on for several months internally as well. The discussion at the meeting was positive. Staff was asked to bring it forward. So this amendment would add the use of tourist home to the uses allowed by right in the C4 Neighborhood Service Business District. Currently, this use is allowed within the C1, C2, C3, C5, and A1 districts under the wider banner of transient habitation. This proposed amendment would add this specific use as a use allowed by right within C4. Again, did include the proposed amendment as well as just, I did add what is the current definition in the zoning ordinance of what a tourist home is, just so everyone knows that. New language is highlighted in yellow. The Planning Commission did review this amendment, did recommend approval. 6-4, 1 against. Staff would also recommend approval.
Jerome, is this the one you were talking about in our
It
joint
is.
meeting?
Yeah, at one time, I'd looked at the property I own on Enon Springs and Hazelwood. There's two 20-by-20 carriage houses. So one time I had the great idea of blowing the top off, putting another story and having a short-term rental. But now that I've reconsidered the cost, that's going to be down the road. But I think we need an avenue, and I like this because we're not putting it in residential neighborhoods. We're keeping it in commercial so that if there is a disruption or disorder, at least it's a little bit more, I guess, user-friendly in the commercial area.
I think this is the only commercial area that we don't have.
Right,
in. So
right.
C4 was the only one that was not included, am I right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Does this mean you could turn your building over there into an Airbnb?
The two 20-by-20s, yeah.
No, the house itself.
No, I'm not interested in that.
But it
But
does
I
mean you
could,
could.
yeah.
You could,
yeah,
though,
In theory,
Yeah.
yeah, you could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to this, but I will just, food for thought, most of our C4 is in residential areas, or abutting residential. So I think that's probably why it was excluded. But I see your point, and I think it's a good spot for it. I'm just saying, I think that's probably why it wasn't included
left out.
originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with whatever the board goes along with. I mean, I think we need to be consistent if we're going to have it in commercial.
Yeah.
Let's not identify one commercial zoning that it can't be in.
No, I
Well,
agree with you.
consistency is something we
Yeah.
chase pretty hard after with just about everything we
Yeah.
do.
So I'm going to abstain from this vote. Just if there is any perceived conflict.
It wouldn't be a problem until you
Yes.
did the Airbnb.
Right. Until I start blowing the roofs off those and building a second story.
So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve Jerome's bill.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Linda back there said, Jerome, let's go do that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
With one abstention. Okay. Item 8B, I have gotten note that we are pulling this item from the agenda. So we will move on to item 8C, which is consideration of appointment of one planning commission member representative to serve on the Historic Zoning Commission. And our person that was on Historic resigned, and they were a previous planning commission member that could serve out their term. And since they've resigned, I need to appoint one person from the planning commission, and I'm going to appoint Steve Sullivan. And
Something else to do.
he doesn't have enough. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Steve, I think that meant nobody else wants to do it. Congratulations.
Mark was quick because he knew he was next in line.
That's right, that's right.
We're going that way.
Anything under other tonight? No? Before we move on to status reports, I do want to, I know that there's been quite a bit of discussion about a planning commission item in In-N-Out Burger that has made quite a bit of, that's gotten quite a bit of discussion. So I'll ask one of you if you want to talk about it, or if Kevin wants to discuss it as to,
You go ahead, I can chime in.
I was gonna say, you made Yahoo News.
I found that out yesterday.
Yes, I think Kevin's gonna bail you all out.
Okay, that's fine, good.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about it, whichever.
Sure.
Yeah, certainly, the planning commission did have a site plan on the agenda Thursday night for the In-N-Out Burger on Industrial Boulevard. Staff did recommend against approval of that, did recommend it be denied. It did not meet our design guidelines, from an architectural standards. From a landscaping plan, actually was really good, but the architectural standards, it did not meet our requirements. We also had some concerns about the traffic in that area and the traffic already issues there. And so there was some discussion with In-N-Out. They did propose some changes out there. They were not what we thought was the best for the entire area. And so I think Mr. Rose is working on some, probably gonna have a contract maybe the next council meeting for the town to undertake a study of that area, basically from Sam Ridley all the way to the town limits. Let's figure out what works best for everybody, not just for not necessarily one individual property or 2 or 3 parcels or whatever. So those are the 2 primary concerns. There also was an issue, the building was, as shown, didn't meet our building setbacks from Industrial Boulevard as well. So that was also an issue.
To that conversation.
Yeah, we really didn't even talk about that very much, but that was something that they would, if planning commission had approved it, they would have had to go to BZA for a variance request that, in my opinion, probably wouldn't merit, it wasn't really any hardship in my mind, but anyway. But yes, it was turned down by the planning commission Thursday night primarily because they did not meet our design review requirements.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff on social media, and a couple of things I would like to clarify is, In-N-Out already owns the property. They purchased it over a year ago. Hickory Falls and the future of Hickory Falls is up to Hickory Falls and their owners. The town and In-N-Out is not involved necessarily in whether or not they decide to stay open or close or move or whatever they're going to do.
nor is it our decision.
Nor is it our decision. We have, to my knowledge, no one's had a conversation with the owners of Hickory Falls. We don't know what necessarily their intentions are. We've heard rumors too. But this conversation about we should move them to the Logan's building or there's other properties available, that's not how the town works. We don't get to make those kind of decisions. So In-N-Out owns the property. They have the right by zoning to put a restaurant there, which is already a restaurant. They will have to meet design review and they will have to meet our other obligations. So then the last thing is there are buildings on Sam Ridley that don't meet design review, but since design review was put in place, we have not approved any businesses along Sam Ridley or anywhere else in town that didn't meet design review. So every other national chain has had to meet design review. McDonald's, Andy's Custards, Whataburger, Cane's, Sprouts will have to meet design review. Everyone has had to meet design review. So this isn't, we're not putting undue pressure or stress on In-N-Out. We're not trying to block them from coming. It's none of that. It's just simply, they want to put a restaurant on a lot that's zoned for a restaurant, but they're not meeting design review.
And they own the lot.
Well,
And they do
They
own
own
the
the
property.
lot. And to Raquel's point a while ago, I said we're always chasing after consistency. And so in planning, that's what we do. Design review is set for a standard, and we cannot waver off of that standard for one restaurant when we've held the prior 10, 15, or whatever to a standard. So we're just trying to hold that consistency for anybody. I don't care if it's In-N-Out or whoever it is that may or may not wind up on that property. We're going to do the same thing for them. So we all love Hickory Falls, believe me. It's one of the favorite places in Smyrna for a lot of people to eat. But we don't control what Hickory Falls does. If they want to stay in business or not stay in business, it's up to them. In-N-Out owns that property. Hickory Falls leases from them to be on that property. They get to make that decision if they want to try to build a restaurant there or not, because they have the proper zoning for that. And so we don't have a legal way to stop that unless it just doesn't meet design review, or if there's issues with ingress egress we have to address and they're not willing to do it. Those are the kinds of things that we do have some say in. Otherwise, we really don't. So to Steve's point, everybody has an opinion about it, and everybody's talking about it out there in the social world. But the truth is, this is where we have to meet the rubber in the road. That's how we have to do things.
Got one question. Did you ever get an answer on the hybrid palm trees?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if you could hear them, but they do something to the ball root of that tree.
They actually put heat.
So you watched
They
it.
put heat in the
Yeah.
roots of the tree, and they are testing. They said they planted them in Franklin about a year ago.
I'll
They are
believe it
still
when I see
alive,
it.
so they made it through a winter. But they're still not. They still said that, there's no guarantee it's gonna live. They think it will. And they're
First
a year
ice
in.
storm, they're toast.
They haven't lived here in January, have they?
There were two things I wanted to make sure that we got across with that. One is staff is already looking at that entire intersection from Sam Ridley up, because we all know that on the SS4A, that was one of the main ones that came across that we needed to look at that intersection for safety. The second thing is, I want the public to know from the very first meeting that Kevin, myself, and Jeff Peach had the first time with them, how long ago was that?
Probably over a year ago now.
Over a year ago, the one thing we said was,
Design
you've got to meet design review.
Told them the
So
same thing.
they've known that, and I know I've been in 2 other meetings with them, and so they knew that design review was something they were gonna have to do, so. Okay, Sierra, you're up with status reports.
Good evening. So for state share tax for July, we received just under 800,000 at 799,150. And for local sales tax, we received 1,867,607. So it's still pretty early, but looking good. Any questions?
No, but I'm sure HG has a comment.
As long as we keep shopping local, we're gonna be okay.
That's right. Okay, thanks, Sierra. Any correspondence or announcements tonight? Directors or department heads, anything that you need to, oh, Tom, come on up. Oh.
Ooh, he's taking a chance. He's taking a chance.
I expected it to be Charles. I didn't expect it to be you.
Not this time. I just wanted to announce
Yeah.
that the construction going on with Atmos Energy, putting in a new gas main on Old Nashville Highway. I talked to the contractor today. They're projecting next week to be complete with installation of all the pipe. It's going to take until about mid-October to backfill everything and clean it all up. So, but work should be done. Most of the construction work should be done end of next week.
Had a lot of people think that was our project. so
Yeah,
I'm glad
got a
that
lot
it'll
of
be
calls
done.
about that one.
Yeah.
Tom,
Okay.
I don't know what involvement you had, but I want to thank you and Dave for taking care of the construction barrels on Nissan Drive.
Yeah. Yeah,
My wife has been wearing me out, so I appreciate you guys taking care of
Yeah,
this.
it's Todd more than anybody.
They're in the back of Dave's truck, just so you know.
She suggested that I should load them up, but apparently they were left over from the Enon Springs Road project and just hadn't gotten picked up yet, but she has been counting the days, so.
Cool. All right.
Charles,
Thanks.
you're gonna talk about Front Street?
Oh, you're going to make it.
I guess that means he is.
You knew it was coming, brother.
Currently, Utilities has completed their work, so right now I'm working with CSX Railroad, trying to get a schedule for a flag person. Right now, I'm put in for September 29th through October 10th, that 2 weeks, but haven't got confirmation. But I will do Washington Street around the roundabout mill and pave that. Then the other part will be Tom's Front Street improvements.
Charles, when will they seal that pavers?
They are been waiting for weather, so now we
Okay.
got some cooler weather coming in, they should be able to get
Well,
those
I
pavers.
noticed a lot of people ran over that, and they'll probably have to be
You'll have
washed.
to
Yeah.
power wash and
Yeah.
then resealed.
Charles, Sam Ridley and Old Highway, that intersection, I know we've talked about that a little bit tonight.
Old Nashville.
Old
Yeah,
Nashville.
yeah.
What's the potential timeline for a start
December
date?
26th.
Next year?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that's what we talked about
You'll have the
before.
pre-con next month, and, but the
I have had
contract
questions about
states.
that, I'm sure you all do too, because it floods
Not
there. a
start,
lot.
I think you said start, but
No,
completion.
yeah, we'll
would be-
start, we'll hopefully start December, something like that.
Yeah.
25.
And then completion by December of 26.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And we will take care of the flooding this year. We have a 24-inch pipe running under the road that will drain.
Okay.
Great.
I want to say two more things to you, Charles.
Okay.
I don't know if you get this often or not, but the turning lane on Jefferson Pike is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Enid Springs paving is wonderful.
Thank you. I was glad to get those two completed here. But yeah, the right turn lane on this one, that has been a big help moving that traffic queue through.
We'll get the other side done here, what, next month, too?
The work queues are due by September 24th, then it will take about a year for design, right-of-way utilities, so maybe a couple of years we'll get that double left in there.
Yeah, I was kidding, of course.
Been working on it that
I
long.
know
It's
you
been a
have.
long time.
That's a hot spot, there's a lot of hot spots.
Well, that and, well, this one we're going through TDOT with the grant, so we got $1 million grant on it, so that's what's taking it longer to come about.
Thank you.
Right.
Charles, while you're getting everything done, can you get the clock set right in downtown?
I know, that drives me crazy.
The clock?
The clock.
The clock.
I don't remember seeing that in my job description. I'll have to reread it here and kind of see. I don't remember
the
that
town
one.
manager's purview, I don't know. you know.
I saw someone taking a picture of it today, actually.
Well, Charles, you have to get
Dave.
that one fixed, fix the event center.
Poor
I'll work on
Charles.
Charles, don't ever come up here unless you're called.
Dave, did you put those
I
on the
was
list?
called.
I saw him right
He's the one that wants the clocks fixed.
Right, your clock's fixed. So.
I can comment on the event center one, because it's actually a lot more complicated than I anticipated. And so we are looking at that, but it is a pretty large expense to fix that clock, tens of thousands.
We
But
thought about putting something else in place of it, so it doesn't look like
Digital clock.
No, I mean, just something, is there something that could be retroed in there that's not a clock?
we're looking at options. I'm happy to report that we, I think today, Todd told me, yep, that we are a recipient of a tourism economic development grant that we're putting towards some of the already budgeted expenses that we were going to do in the event center. So great job with our new grants coordinator.
Dennis.
By Dennis,
By
yep.
Dennis.
And there may be some opportunity there to take a look at what to do with that clock at the event center. And now that my staff knows that that clock in downtown needs to be
Front
fixed,
Street.
we'll take a look at that.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate all the grants that the town has been able to find and use. It really saves our taxpayers money.
Absolutely.
And so I appreciate you guys doing all the grant searches that you can.
Okay. Any other directors or department heads? Amber Lou?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to let everybody know, for the viewers here and also that are watching on the television, our new Civic Plus portal it's live. It is linked to our website. Under the agendas and minutes portion of the website, you can now access that new portal. And which, something new for you all is the whole packet is actually published to the website. So you guys can go and participate, follow along, and actually look at the items that council is looking at as well in their packets. So it's pretty user-friendly. And also, I've been going through and putting the motions and the votes in this evening as they've been happening. So those will pop up in real time as well, and you'll be able to see those as they come in. Now, don't always quote me on getting them the night of. I'm kind of playing around with it. That's my hope. But at least the next morning, I always put out a legislative report and hope to have those done by the next morning as well. You will also be able to view the recorded meeting through that portal as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything to do with our meetings. And that's not just for council, but it's for all boards and committees as well. They'll all be within this new portal, and you should be able to access that. You can also go in there and set up an account, and you can sign up for notifications. And anytime a packet or an agenda is published to that board portal, or to the public portal, you should get a notification that the agenda and/or packet has been published. So thank you to Mr. Santucci and the council for approving that. We're moving right along. So I had one more thing. Oh, it's for HG. What you will notice when you drive by the event center is there's a fresh Town of Smyrna flag out there, thanks to the Parks Department. They put that out, and then we'll have
We'll
fresh.
pass that along to Mr. Paul Lamb.
Okay. And then we will have fresh flags up at the event center for our sellout crowd this weekend for the Top Gun Night Run, but I'm gonna let Mayor talk more about that.
Great.
That's it.
Dave?
All right, I got 2 announcements for this evening, talking about being able to receive notifications. Just want to remind everyone that a great way to stay informed with the town of Smyrna is through our alert system. You can sign up today at www.townofsmyrna.org or scan the QR code as soon as that comes up on the screen. And that will include weather notifications, town council meeting updates, thank you, Smyrna Event Center lunch menus, and brush service notifications. So to know when that brush truck is going to be coming around to your neighborhood to pick up that brush. So great way to stay connected with us, and encourage all residents to download that and get those notifications. Next one is want to just notify everyone that TDOT will be in town on September 30th. Just found this out today, so we'll start getting the word out. Me and Mayor Reed attended a meeting with the new TDOT Commissioner, Will Reed, and it was a great meeting, great introduction to some of his visions to continue on with some of the stuff that the former TDOT Commissioner and the current governor have planned in terms of delivering projects to the residents of the state of Tennessee, and in particular as it relates to Region 3, which is, we are in Region 3. There was a lot of discussion today about the Choice Lane project, and so we do have this public meeting coming up. It is on September 30th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and it will be held at the event center. So.
And it's a come and go. It's not stay all 2 hours, but they'll have the updates of that they currently have for the Choice Lane project.
Yep. The update that we got so far was that they have shortlisted the contractors who will be, who one of which would be the contractor on the job. So they got a little bit of work to do still within that procurement and contracting phase. But I guess what we're going to hear there is some alternatives that they are looking at based on the feedback they received from some of those contractors, and they would like to get public input. So come on out, get an update, understand the magnitude of this project, because it is pretty significant. And that's all I have.
Great. Jeff?
I think I spoke enough.
Jerome?
Yes, Mayor, I have an announcement. Join us for 23rd Annual Wings of Freedom Fish Fry, hosted by the Rotary Club of Smyrna. It will occur on September 13th, and the gates open at 5 o'clock, and we're having a cruise in. This year's event honors the heroic legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen, the first African-American military aviators in U.S. Armed Forces. Enjoy great food, community, fellowship, and a celebration of freedom and history. And we're going to have the traveling museum of the Tuskegee Airmen, so that'll be a special feature this year. And you can go and purchase tickets at www.wofsmyrna.com, or you can purchase them at the gate. And we're looking for sponsors continually until the event.
Did I see something about bidding on a plane
Oh yes,
ride?
a flight. I think that bid stops tomorrow at 8 p.m. where you can bid on one of their, what is that?
P-51.
Yes, P-51. And that bid ends in, but we also have a silent auction going on.
Great.
I think it was up to, was it $950 the bid for the flight?
Cool.
So
Okay.
HG, I expect you to bid 4,000 on that.
Can 2 people go? Will you
I
ride
don't
with me?
know.
Raquel?
Alrighty. The Smyrna Farmers Market. Join us Saturdays at the historic Smyrna Depot from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. now through September the 20th. Only 2 weeks remain in the summer farmers market season. Don't miss your chance to shop fresh local produce and handmade goods. And also, we will get ready to transition into the Smyrna Fall Farmers Market, continuing the tradition of supporting our local farmers, growers, and artisans. And Mr. Moss, is that going to also be over at Gregory Mills Park again this fall?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah, it'll be down the kind of activity area.
okay. Do you know what date that'll start?
I think it's on the screen, October 4th.
October the 4th.
Yeah.
So the farmers market will pick up at Gregory Mills Park on October the 4th through November the 22nd. All right. And then I have another announcement, but I don't believe there's a slide for it. And it's from the Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee. So we have a new website called Roundabout Smyrna, and it highlights arts, culture, and entertainment throughout the town of Smyrna. On the community calendar, there you'll find events including Smyrna Parks and Recs events, thanks to Courtney Cooper from our Parks Department, who is also on our committee, and thank you to her for help making that happen. The Depot District Mural Art Trail, which is a walking collection of murals and public art pieces from Front Street to Lowry Street, and it will give you the details on where all those murals are located. We also have a Smyrna News blog that features stories about local celebrations and events. And we have the Future Vision video series where committee members talk about creative ideas from other cities that we might want to bring here. More website partners are coming soon, like the library, the senior center, and live music spots such as the Station Theater. Eventually, it will be linked directly to the town's main website, but for now, you can check it out anytime at roundaboutsmyrna.com. So no spaces, but roundaboutsmyrna.com. You can get involved by checking out the site or sharing the local maker spotlight with artists or makers who'd like to be featured. You can also submit feedback and ideas at roundaboutsmyrna.com/vision. Help us spread the word about the website and follow us on Facebook and Instagram as Roundabout Smyrna. And then secondly, we have an Art Express/Destination Smyrna. So mark your calendars for October the 17th. From 5 to 8 p.m. for an art crawl starting at the depot, and this is a free event. We're asking you to come check out the art and meet artists and explore the Depot District. And there are still time to apply for artists, or if you have a venue down in the Depot District that you would like to include at the art crawl, we're still taking applications, and we'll be taking those applications through Friday, September the 12th. And you can apply on the Trellis and Vines website at trellisandvine.art/pages Depot District Art Crawl. So please again go out and check out Roundabout Smyrna for your updates about the art crawl as well as the happenings going around the town of Smyrna related to arts and culture. Thank you.
Is she?
Okay, I think I got a slide on Depot Days, Friday, September 26th. The car show is from 6 to 8:30 on Front Street. And if somebody wants to bring a car in, you need to get it in there early because we're limited on the number of spots that we have available for the cars. That precludes the Saturday, September 27th, Depot Days, which starts at 10 o'clock and goes to 4 o'clock. And let's see, down here it says 16th Annual Depot Days. Live music on 2 stages, 100 vendors, food and artisans, and free inflatables and kids' activities. It's fun for the whole family. It is a good time. It's kind of the premier event in the depot for the year. And it is also put on by the Smyrna Independent Merchants Association. And so, shop local, as we have said. Do I have a litter slide? There we go. Love where you live. Help keep Smyrna litter free. Guys, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. If you have to keep it in your car for just a minute or two, every time you stop, there's a trash can nearby, if it's the one in your garage or if it's the one in at the gas station. You know, and the addendum to the litter is, please work on recycling also. We have single stream recycling out at the convenience center. It's not that difficult either. One other thing, I need to pass condolences along to my son's wife's sister has passed away. Young lady, two children, her one daughter just started on her academic scholarship to Baylor, and the other one is, still in elementary school. And they could use some prayers. Her name is Heather Say, and her mom and daddy are Rhonda and Willie Capps. They're really good people, and just the idea of burying a child is, it's bad enough burying parents and such as that, but having to bury a child is just, it seems overwhelming.
And Declan's mom?
Declan's dad, that was
Dad.
a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
It's been
Your son.
bad to hang around the coals lately.
Yeah.
That's all I got, Mary Esther.
Thanks. Jerry?
Okay, I think I have a slide. The Smyrna Police Department is hosting its Citizens Police Academy from September the 16th through November the 4th, held on Tuesday nights from 6 until 9. The program is open to adults 18 and older and will cover topics such as traffic stops, investigations, patrol, narcotics, and tours. Applications are due by September the 8th. For further information or to apply at the townofsmyrna.org. That's all I've got tonight.
That's it?
That's it.
Steve?
Also have a slide, Halloween in the Park. This is our 28th annual Halloween in the Park at Sharp Springs Natural Area, Saturday, October 25th from 3 to 8:30 p.m. There'll be free inflatables, trick-or-treating, pie eating contests, games, haunted maze hosted by, or put on by Smyrna High School softball, and over 70 food and craft vendors. There's hay rides from 3 to 5:30. You can register at townofsmyrna.org. It is one of our largest and most attended events of the year. So contact the Parks and Rec Department with any questions, 615-459-9773. And then one thing I was going to add, and Mike might appreciate this, for the Depot Car Show that HG covered, it does start at 6 p.m., but you have to stay till 8:30. So it is not a cruise in. If you bring your car and put it in the show, the roads close at 6 o'clock and you cannot get out until 8:30. So just so you know, plan to be there for 2.5 hours if you bring your car.
Hey, Steve, me and Jerome, we're bringing our Monte Carlos out. You gonna bring yours?
I certainly will.
Friday, September 12th at 7:30 is the Captain Coos Run, the Top Gun Run, the sixth one, which is sort of significant to the number 6. I've gotten to see some of the swag.
I was gonna stop you there. Steve, do you have your swag in here?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Can you model it for us?
Which part do you want to see?
All of it.
You got to put it on.
We have a bag, obviously.
A reusable bag.
This is the medal that will be presented upon completion. Usually they are handing these out at the finish line and put them around your neck.
Enjoy all your favorite throwback hits from the 80s tribute band Bueller. They always have great music out there. Sign up at townofsmyrna.org. Online registration closes on Wednesday at 5 p.m. If you would like to register after online registration period has closed, please contact the Parks and Recreation Department.
You cannot, well,
that's not
that's
true.
not true. That's not true.
That's not true.
But even if you don't want to participate in the walk, come out. The band's great. We've got food truck. They'll be giving giveaways. I mean, there is a lot of stuff, and this one is extra, extra special.
Slide is done. Wow, we took me about 10 minutes to do my
I know,
slide.
sorry.
I wanted to congratulate your family on Britt's retirement and Mary Lee's wedding. You can get to talk about that if you want to, but HG and myself and a former council member, Tim Morrell, all celebrated our 50th Smyrna High School celebration on Saturday night for 50 years. Our class 44th wedding anniversary next week. So congratulations to us for lasting her putting up with me for 44 years is the main thing. And so I love you, Connie, if you're watching, and thank you for putting up with me. So.
Great.
Let me go back.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So that you can go out with a grand finale.
Okay,
I know
great.
how like
Thank you.
like to do
Yeah.
that. I got an update. I don't know if y'all know Vanessa Haley, but she is Vice President of SIMA, and she sent me a picture of the flyer on the Depot Days, and there is some really interesting stuff that haven't been done in the past. Smyrna's Biggest Bash is back, a full day of fun, axe throwing, bounce houses, mini train rides, silent auction, the town of Smyrna, Cedar Glade Brews, and Smyrna Parks and Recreation. And that's something that, as a former president of SIMA, I have to really throw some shout outs to the town of Smyrna for all the assistance they give us in putting on Depot Days, more especially Mike and the Parks Department. I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm sitting up here, but we are very fortunate to have the different departments and their all ability to work together. It's your turn.
Thanks. I have a couple of slides tonight. First of all, I want to thank Springs Empower Academy that currently is at the Boys and Girls Club for inviting me out. Casey was gracious enough to go with me. It started out that we were going to speak to the kindergartners, and then by the time it was done, I think we were kindergarten through third grade that we got to speak to. And so I always love getting back into the schools. I think probably a lot of us will be doing that on Friday at Reading in the Schools. I think I'm going to be hitting 5 schools that day. So I always enjoy that, and these kids were great and had some really good questions. Had a young lady that emailed me, Gina Alfarna, and she actually is in Dr. Krause's class at Motlow, and an example of that. So just wanted to say thanks to them. I do want to introduce Patrick. Patrick, I know you don't know that I'm doing this, but Patrick's in the booth. Patrick, will you come out? I want to introduce you all to Patrick, our new multimedia coordinator. So Patrick's been with us 1 week. He came a week ago, so Patrick is the one who tries to make us all look good, but we are so glad to have you. Patrick comes from California.
Go over there to the
Yeah,
podium.
come right up.
The screen up
And
there.
tell us.
I gotta change the slide though.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Will you tell us a little bit about where you came from and what you did and how you got here?
Well, it came from I gotta turn the audio up too on the.
Okay.
I came from Los Angeles. I worked at the city of Los Angeles for approximately 10, 11 years. Then I moved to the port with the city of Los Angeles. Then I worked there about 10 years, doing all the television and stuff like that, and press conferences, all sorts of things, and making videos. And I've been doing it for over 25 years, and I love my job.
Great. Well, we are glad to have you, but I just wanted you all to kind of see the face behind the camera, and he's going to be doing lots of different stuff for the town. He has hit the ground running, so we're glad to have you.
Great, thank you.
Good job for your first night. It went flawless. So
That's right.
Good job.
Actually, Keith's doing it, but I'm still learning.
He couldn't have done it without you.
That's right. Well, Patrick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Council, is there anything else? If there's nothing else, we're adjourned.
2 hours, 7 minutes, 11 seconds.